Hello, everyone. I know that everyone is a little stressed right now about world events, so we're going to do a little pick a pile so you have something to get your mind off of it for a couple minutes. So you're going to pick a pile 1 or 2. If you pick pile 1, we're going to be using the After Tarot, and if you pick pile 2, we're going to be using the Light Seers deck. So we're looking at intentions. How can I embrace my shadow? How can I challenge my shadow? And how to take care of myself while confronting my shadow. So pick a number 1 or 2. And we're going to get started with pile 1. So looking at intentions, how can I embrace my shadow? What do we need to know about embracing our shadow here? We have the Ace of Pentacles. There we go. We have the 5 of Cups. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. Very interesting message. What can I embrace? How can I embrace my shadow? The Ace of Pentacles would tell us to see it as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for advancement, an opportunity to use your anger or pain as fuel. This 5 of Cups, being that this is the After Tarot, this person is usually facing these knocked over cups here. But since it's the scene after, this person has started to turn. They're now in a position where they could be looking at these 2 cups. Their eyes look closed, but they could be looking down at these 2 cups, these 2 empty cups that could be filled with anything that this person chooses to fill them with. There's this whole stream over here, or the person can take the cups, walk somewhere else, and fill them with whatever they want. These ones are broken and unable to be used again. The person recognized that and is now facing away from them. The Wheel of Fortune, you are meant to get something greater out of your healing than what you lost from your pain. You're meant to get something greater out of your healing than what you lost from your pain. So how can you embrace your shadow? View it as an opportunity to make something even better than how it had been before the shadow came to be. Even if that shadow is all the way back in childhood, the Queen of Swords, see how she has her back to that? And she's kind of like summoning in the future. Put the past behind you, keep the wisdom, and start to unpack the pain, because pain, you'll find greater solutions than you would have without it. And I know for some pain, that's a little bit difficult to understand or understand, but you're meant to make things even better than how they were before the shadow came to be. Typically, they're all up fighting, 5 of Wands, but they're sitting down. Could they get up at any moment and fight again? Yes, but they're choosing to not do that. You don't have to fight against your shadows. I actually just posted a reading to TikTok about not even embracing or healing, but befriending your shadows. Befriending your shadows because there's something to learn there. There's something to learn. So how can you embrace your shadow? By starting to understand and accept that there was a reason that your soul chose to put you in the position for this to happen, even if it is something that feels on the surface like there could be no good that came from it. You already went through the trauma. You went through the pain. You could carry that with you in that same package forever, or you could unwrap it and then choose to do with what's inside what you will, that will allow you to evolve further. So it's almost like you have this package that could be a weight or could be a gift, and it's all up to how your mind is choosing to view it. Could be a weight, could be a gift. You staying blindfolded doesn't allow you to choose which option you want. Once you take the blindfold off by unpacking your shadow and befriending your shadow, you then can choose, am I going to allow this to stay a heavy weight, or am I going to find a way to make something greater out of my pain than what I experienced in the past? How can I challenge my shadow? How can I challenge my shadow? We have the 8 of Cups, the 7 of Swords, and the Knight of Swords in reverse. How can you challenge your shadow? In the past, you would walk away unfulfilled in this energy of self-sabotage by holding back, by suppressing, by repressing, by going into battle with your shadows as opposed to befriending them. So how can you challenge your shadow? Show up differently for yourself. That is what will challenge your shadow, because your shadow, it's like if you bring your light into a very dark room, the room is not dark anymore. You're in there, your light's there. You just have to shine the light of yourself on your shadows. In the past, you would blame or shame yourself for them. And again, this is the after tarot. So typically there's no person here. It's just one person walking away. But since it's the scene after, this person has gone back to re-examine the shadow and not fight against it, but love yourself through it, because you're not in this energy of self-sabotage anymore. The wisdom you attained will not allow you to stay in the same self-sabotaging patterns that you did in the past. Befriend your shadow. Befriend it. How to take care of myself while confronting my shadow. I have the Page of Swords. I have the 7 of Wands and the Page of Cups in reverse. So defend yourself against internal dialogue that's going to trigger you without forward progress. So allow yourself to feel your feelings and emotions with a purpose, not just drowning in them, not just barreling through the anger, but allowing yourself to really sit with the deeper meanings of what can be gained based off of what wisdom has been attained. How to take care of yourself while confronting your shadow. Put down the fight of internal self-sabotage by not letting your internal dialogue trying to find fault within yourself for things that you needed to learn the lessons from. What I mean by that is you have to go through something and then allow yourself to heal and then allow yourself to unpack it to get the wisdom that's locked within the experience. Now that things are coming to the surface, don't go back to months or years ago and blame yourself for decisions you made then when you didn't have the wisdom that you have now. There's self-forgiveness needed in that regard. Now, if you're in this pile 1, pick a number 1 or 2. We're going to look at your specific wounds that need to be really honed in on in this season. Pick a number 1 or 2. If you picked number 1, creativity blockages and abandonment wounds. This feels like inner child. This feels like sacral chakra. This feels like other people abandoned you and taught you how to not show up for yourself in the fullest way possible. 'Tis the season of correcting that so you can come up with creative solutions to unlock the parts of you that had to be previously repressed or suppressed. And if you picked pile 2, inner teenager and self-sabotage patterns. We talked about self-sabotage a lot in this message. This is your inner teen rebelling. And it's not to try and rebel against you. Your inner teen is the part of you that knows that certain things were damaging to the connection between your inner child and your current self, and your inner teenager is trying to act as that funnel to reconnect all the pieces of yourself, which is why there's some rebellion in that energy. And if you picked pile 2, how can I embrace my shadow? We have 6 of Swords, Justice in reverse, and 4 of Swords. Embrace your shadow by figuring out what it is in your environment that's throwing you off balance and causing you this energy of like escapism. It's like you can't really unpack or heal the shadow if you're not fully present in yourself. And there's something in the immediate environment that feels as though it's causing you to always be anxious about the future or like on this hamster wheel about the past, and it's causing you to not be in the mindset of groundedness, in the mindset of it's okay to just be. It's like you're in this energy of I always have to do or go, because if not, then I'm going to be stuck with my thoughts or my feelings, and I can't have that. So there's this feeling of running from self, escapism. And in order to embrace your shadow, you need to be present so that you can do that. And with the Ace of Swords in reverse and the Four of Cups, it's like there's discontent because of not believing you can handle certain things, but that's a lie. Other people's projections have convinced you that because they can't handle their emotions, you probably can't handle yours either. And whether that was intentional or unintentional on their part, it's something that your subconscious mind is now replaying over and over and causing this energy of escapism because you have yourself convinced that you can't handle the emotions as they come to the surface. So there's this feeling of emotional boredom because of resistance to emotional flow. And yeah, Five of Swords in reverse, Hanged Man in reverse, needing to release yourself from your head. It's like you're trapped in your mind, but in order to embrace your shadows, it requires you to drop into your heart space. And in order for you to drop into your heart space, you need to allow yourself to feel. You need to allow yourself to trust yourself to feel. So that is step one in embracing that shadow, is being present and not busybodying yourself away from your feelings and emotions. How can I challenge my shadow? We have the Ten of Swords, Queen of Wands in reverse, and the Sun in reverse. I also have Justice poking out here. So there's this feeling of like, with the Sun and the Queen of Wands in reverse, you may find it easier to talk to others or to lean on others for certain wounds here. But this is like the next step in challenging your shadow is showing yourself that you can do it on your own, that there are certain things that you avoid feeling because you're not ready to talk about them with other people, but you are ready to unpack them on your own. This can be through journaling. This can be through creative, what is that called? Like vision board type thing. Like you can kind of, I'm seeing a bunch of different pictures on like this board. And what I feel like that means is like visualize the shadow that you've been running from, so you can see it's not as scary as it felt like it was when you felt like you had to run to keep away from it, because it was always going to keep running because there was something in it that you need to help you unlock the next chapters or the next steps forward. So with the Ten of Swords here, it's like the only way out is through. Is it going to hurt? Yeah. Is it going to suck? Yeah. But is it also going to free you? Yeah. You are brave enough to be alone with the shadows that you felt like they were much scarier than they actually are, because they're not something that is a punishment. They're simply a part of you that, if you imagine yourself like a giant mansion with all the lights on, brilliantly, brightly lit, okay? But there's certain rooms or hallways in this mansion that other people came in and turned the lights off on. You are simply going around and seeing what rooms have the lights off and turning them back on. So it's not that it's not as scary as it may have felt, because you are simply just rediscovering parts of yourself that you had to hide in order to protect. And with the Page of Swords in reverse and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, it's time now. You don't need to learn anymore about why you had to make the choices that you made, because as you heal, you'll understand how the choices that you made were you doing the best that you could at the time with the information and wisdom that you had. So you can look at the situation in retrospect from 100 different angles right now, but you're always going to see it differently right now because you have the wisdom that you have. You have the time in between that you have. You didn't have any of that then. So no matter what better solutions you could think of now to handle things differently then, it never could actually be that way because the wisdom came after the experience that hurt you, so that you would not have to relive that experience again. So how can I challenge my shadow? Sit with it. Trust yourself to handle and work out the things with yourself that you want to talk about, you want to express, but that you're not ready to express to other people yet. There's still that feeling of measuring your emotional safety, but some things are going to be a little bit more shaky until you start to get your footing, which requires you to once again be present in the moment to ground yourself in your energy. How to take care of myself while confronting my shadow. Page of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles in reverse, and 10 of Pentacles. Lots of Pentacles. Grounding, grounding, growling, grounding, growling. Maybe you need to growl. Maybe you need to like literally sit there, stare yourself in the mirror, and allow yourself to see yourself letting yourself be angry or letting yourself be emotional or letting yourself feel and not blaming yourself, not judging yourself. You need to realize that what manifests through your healing is your lasting stability because you no longer feel like you have to escape yourself just to be okay. How can you take better care of yourself while confronting your shadow? Wheel of Fortune, Lovers, Page of Cups. Focus on that part of you that feels like your innocence was unrightfully stripped from you, and recognize there's a piece of you that is very angry or very hurt that there was innocence taken from you before it was time. And then you're also judging yourself for decisions that you made in the past. But think about both of those things parallel to each other. If you were in a state of innocence and that was just stripped from you by someone else's hand, you didn't have the wisdom then to make the better choices because you just admitted to yourself that you were innocent until someone changed that. So you couldn't have had the wisdom to know what you were up against until you had seen someone else embody that energy that hurt you. So you can't expect yourself to make wise decisions when you at the time were in a position that you didn't realize that you had to protect yourself in the way that you ended up having to protect yourself. Allow yourself to love yourself through the self-forgiveness of knowing that you made the best decisions with the wisdom that you had at the time. And no matter how many times you think back now, in retrospect, you're never going to be able to go back in time and have the wisdom then that you do now to make different choices. But trust that you made the decisions you needed to make so that you could get the wisdom necessary to not have to repeat the same lessons again. If you are in this pile, pick a number 1 or 2. We're going to look at your specific wounds. Number 1, fear of failure and perfectionism mindset. You're scared of letting yourself down or other people down when it comes to your emotions. And I feel like this is certain people don't like the roles that they chose to play in your story. And for you to sit with your wounds and unpack them means you admitting to yourself the roles that they tried to play or that they did play. They might not like that. They might not like to be viewed in that light. But if they did not want to be viewed in that light, they should have made different choices. That doesn't mean you're stuck with it just because you don't want to make them look bad, even if it's in your own mind. There's a feeling of knowing that you are enough just as you are, regardless of the other people that tried to convince you that you let them down by you no longer putting up with their BS. It wasn't that you let them down by no longer putting up with their BS. It was that they let themselves down by no longer being able to fool you to put up with their BS. And if you pick pile 2, or if you pick number 2, blockage of the third eye chakra and money wounds, self-worth, self-concept. Third eye chakra would be planning, visualizing. There's a feeling here of, since there was this energy of escapism, there was also this lack of hope for the future that was kind of building, because you didn't see yourself worthy of escaping the energy that you've been in, because you've been escaping yourself, and then hence unable to figure out how you could get into a better energy, get into a calmer, more peaceful energy, because there was this avoidance or escapism. One second. So there's this need now. Sorry, Gavin's upstairs. So there's this need now to understand that you're worthy of the work it takes to unpack what other people sent you as a bad gift, their projections that you never asked for. There's a feeling of going through your mindset and seeing what is truly the way you feel about yourself versus the way that other people felt about themselves that they projected onto you. There's a renewal of hope for the future that comes as you allow yourself to stop escaping from yourself. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day.